What's good, everyone, and welcome back to the Water Boys channel as we are diving right back into the AFC playoff picture. If you did not catch my first playoff prediction video for the AFC, it'll be listed down below. And honestly, I'm not too far off. Of course, it's a weird NFL season, so things have been shaking and baking, but we're going to keep adjusting as the season moves on. Without further ado, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel as I will keep you up to date on all the latest NFL news and rumors. Now let's dive into this AFC playoff prediction. So you continue number one seed in the NFL, and actually AFC, not NFL, because the NFC is doing way better than the AFC. But we got your Tennessee Titans, who had a surprising win over the, I almost said St. Louis. Let's retract. We're not going back 5 years, against the Los Angeles Rams. And honestly, that was one of my shakeups right there because I had them losing that game just because I didn't know how they would turn out and how they would be. So right now they're sitting at 7-2, your number one seed in the AFC. They versed the Saints. A lot of people see this as being an upset, but I don't know. People will say, and if you notice in the Tennessee game, yeah, their defense did come out strong with basically almost 2 pick sixes, which helped them deter that game. And that's not going to happen every game. And New Orleans' defense is really stout. I just don't know what they provide on offense, and I think it could be a close game, but I still think that's one Tennessee will edge, so I'm going to keep that a win for them. I'm not going to put the Saints as L for the Titans right now. Now, your new number 2 seed, which also took a huge loss, which I didn't predict, which was Thursday night, was your Baltimore Ravens. Now, they had a nice win over the Minnesota Vikings, which they could have easily lost. That was an interesting game. They didn't look like themselves, but somehow, someway, what Lamar's been doing all year, he's been getting this team back in the game and winning them at the ends. Different story Thursday night. Miami dominated this team on Thursday, and this was one a lot of people didn't see happening. A lot of people didn't see Miami winning this game, and in the fashion they won this game. Baltimore could not do anything on offense, and that was a loss I did not see. So right now, they're sitting at 6-3. They're still your number 2 seed, but games haven't been played this Sunday. But this does shake things up because I still have the Ravens losing to the Browns, Packers, and Rams. They got a kind of hard schedule going down the line. Hopefully their roster doesn't start catching up with them because we've seen them battle injuries all year. And with the loss against Miami, kind of showed that the depth wasn't all there. Hopefully it was just a short week type of things and Baltimore can bounce back, but we'll see. They get a long week, so we'll see how that turns out. Your number 3 seed did the same thing to me as well. It's your Buffalo Bills, a loss nobody saw coming last week against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Josh Allen won the Josh Allen battle. If you guys don't know, the defensive end linebacker took on the quarterback, and he showed out. Like, he had a great game. He wanted to be known as the better Josh Allen, and he was. But even at that, one player doesn't deter the final score, and it obviously did because Jacksonville came out and they showed out, and Buffalo's offense has been sputtering a lot. It does leave me to kind of concerned if they can pick back up. This would be the game to get right, but you would have thought Jacksonville would have been as well. They play the Jets this week. If they lose this one, man, a lot of people are going to be questioning Buffalo because I have them finishing the year off as the number 1 seed, and I only had them losing to the Patriots. But now you lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who you shouldn't really lose to. That throws everything out the window. Buffalo needs to find themselves real quickly before this goes downhill. I do still have them losing to the Jets. If I had to switch anything up, that Buccaneers game is going to be really interesting. I might add that loss on there as well, but I'll stick with the same. Right now, what they are at 5-3. Oof, I don't know if they'll win out or not. I still see them losing to the Patriots and Bucs, so it'll be very, very interesting how Buffalo finishes off the year. And all your top seeds, your division leaders took a loss besides the Titans, so let's throw it on to the Las Vegas Raiders. They had a tough game against the Giants. The Giants are proving themselves against KC on Monday night, and then they came out with a win against the Raiders at home. Raiders, I don't know. Like, now it's going to get kind of iffy. They're at 5-3. Ooh, man, it's going to get hard. I had them finishing the year at 11-6 with not that loss to the Giants. So with that, if you add that on, it'd be 10-7. We'll see how this Chiefs game goes. It will be a battle. I know it will. It will be a fun game. And I'm kind of tossed up. I don't know who will win this game. On paper and in the last video, I do have the Chiefs winning the game, but that's me speaking as a fan. But now the Raiders got a lot to fight for. They don't want to lose this division so easily. This one will be a nail-biter, and I know it'll come down to the wire. I'm still going to edge with the Chiefs because that's my team. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Raiders pull this off, definitely at home in Las Vegas. But we'll see how this pans out, because this right here, surprisingly, is for the division with how far KC fell off, and now they're coming back in it. So this is going to be a good one. Now let's jump to your new number 5 seed, which would be the Pittsburgh Steelers. They had all their wins are kind of ugly against the Chicago Bears. The refs helped them out a lot. We all know, we've all seen the replays on all of them. It was just an ugly game altogether. And they're sitting at 6-3. Right now, they play the Detroit Lions, and a lot of people are picking this for their upset, and I can see it happening. I just don't want to fully commit on that right now, because that's just, Lions have struggled all this year. Now, they do play, like, their harder opponents really well, and Pittsburgh, one thing they do struggle on is offense, but as well, too, they got a good defense, and I don't know if Detroit can overcome that. And then I think this game's in Pittsburgh as well. This is going to be a tough game for Detroit. They are coming off a bye week. They are well rested. So if this was a good week to get a good game plan in for Jared Goff and just to throw new kinks in the chain and all that and try to overcome everything, this would be the week. And upsets have happened all year. So this wouldn't be one of the crazier upsets. But if Pittsburgh loses this AFC wildcard just shakes up, because we got a lot of teams in the hunt as well. But they're sitting at number 5. It's going to be interesting. I have them still finishing off the year at 9-8 because I still had them beating Chicago and Detroit. Their schedule gets tougher down the line. So if they lose any of they beat Chicago, if they lose to Detroit and mess anything up in that span, it's going to get really tough for Pittsburgh. Now, sitting at number 6 will be the LA Chargers. They had a hard-fought win against the Eagles as well. Now, I do already have them projected to lose this game against the Vikings. The Vikings, they are so close, but it's been every single year. They got to pull some of these games off. Kirk Cousins is playing very well as well. I just don't know how they keep losing these games. They either have a defensive sputter or an offensive sputter in the wrong time. And I don't know. I just think it's a very good matchup between the AFC and NFC. And I just think teams not knowing each other well, and yes, the Vikings don't know the Chargers like that, but I don't know. I think the Chargers are going to struggle with the Vikings, and I think the Vikings are going to overcome it. I still have the Chargers finishing the year off at 11-6. They were on pace with last week because I had them beating the Eagles, and this was one loss I had them losing as well to the Vikings because it's a surprise to a lot of people. But they're still on pace, and I still have them on pace to make the playoffs as well. Now, your new number 7 seed, it is the Cincinnati Bengals. They are on a bye week this week. They need it because they've suffered 2 huge losses. And I told you, this thing can go downhill for Cincinnati really quick. And Cleveland Browns gave them the business. I thought it'd be a good game. I thought it'd be a closer game, and it just wasn't. And that could detour a lot. Like I said, I still have them losing the Browns twice, Chargers, Ravens, and Chiefs finishing the year off at 9-8. But man, they got a hard road, and they need to turn things around real quickly because they're starting to look the Bengals of old, where they got a good offense. Now that defense is starting to sputter. We're getting midway to the season where teams are going to find out who they are, and other teams are going to find out who you are too. And if you can't adjust, definitely with the young team like Cincinnati, it's going to be a long road hauling. They're close. I just don't know if they're a playoff team this year. But they can still make it if they pull out some extra wins that I say they might lose. But we'll just see how it spans out during the thick of the season. Now, all your in the hunt teams will stay the same because they did what they needed to do to maintain some type of playoff race, and they all won. So we'll jump into the New England Patriots at the number 8 spot. They're 5-4 right now, and they got a fun one too because they're going against the Cleveland Browns, who are at the number 10 spot as well. So this is going to get really, really interesting. I do have the Patriots winning this game. And it hurts for the Browns as well because Nick Chubb is out, and I think what Bill Belichick does already well, he takes out your number 1 thing. And since you're already missing your number 1 thing in Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, and I like Dearness Johnson. He's a good running back, but against a New England defense that's stout at the run, it might be a struggle. So he's going to try to stop Baker. And Baker, he's going to struggle in Foxborough. I really believe that. And that's going to hurt their value a lot in this game. It might hurt our ranking as well. It's going to be interesting. I have them both. Well, I actually have New England finishing the year off at 11-6. I have Cleveland finishing off at 10-7, which will still keep pace on where I still view them both at. This is going to be a fun game. I think it's going to be a very underrated game that a lot of people aren't going to be ready to see. But this is going to be a fun defensive battle game. And I think it's whoever makes that offensive play will win, which is kind of vice versa. We're used to whoever makes the defensive play will win. I think in this game, it's whoever makes that offensive play in the fourth quarter will win this ball game. At the number 9 spot, we are going to be talking about my Kansas City Chiefs. And I wouldn't say they did what they had to do because they did, but I also had them losing to the Packers. I kept it on track even with Jordan Love playing because you just never know. The Chiefs haven't looked like themselves, and they still did it in the game as well. It was a defensive battle game, which is surprising from a Chiefs aspect as well. But this last few weeks, the Chiefs defense has turned it around. If they can maintain that against the Raiders, which the Raiders got a good core, even with all the struggles they've had this year, with all the adversity, they're still a good team. They're a viable playoff contender. And I think it's going to be a great matchup. I wouldn't be surprised if KC loses this game. It would put them back on track since I had them losing to the Packers. But I don't know. If they edge it out and you're in first place in the division, that changes the whole dynamic. It really does, because KC's sitting at the 9th spot. And then if you have the Chargers losing to the Vikings and then the Chiefs beating the Raiders, that jumps them all the way to the 4th spot. That's how crazy this AFC picture is. This is for anybody how wide open it is. I'm excited to see the game, even if I wasn't a Chiefs fan. It's going to be a fun one. I hope they pull it off because, man, we were talking how bad they are to winning 3 in a row and getting back into this. I want this to be the game where the Chiefs' offense is found. I want Patrick Mahomes to come to life. I want a Tyreek Hill to be revived, a Travis Kelce. They got the pieces. The only thing that concerns me in this game is they're going to be missing their right tackle. So Max Crosby could have a day. The Raiders' defense is also new and revived as well. They've been playing better than they ever have as well. I'm excited to see this game because I really don't know how it's going to turn out. I'm trying to take the fan perspective out, and it's literally like a coin flip to me because both these teams have a lot to be fighting for in this game. Now, I will skip my number 10 spot because I talked about it a little bit in the Browns and Patriots matchup because my 10th spot is the Browns, and I let you know that they still are on pace as well. I don't know how this game is going to be either. It's going to be a really good one, but I have them finishing the year off at 10-7 still, so I'm going to give it to the Patriots as a win. Now we're going to dive into my number 11 spot, which I thought was crazy to have them in the hunt, and I thought it was wild. But they came out, they showed out against the Dallas Cowboys, and the Denver Broncos are looking good, sitting at 5-4. This week they play the Eagles. This is going to be another interesting one too because I really don't know who the Denver Broncos are. And if they win this game, which it's a very winnable game as well, that puts them at 6-4, which would be crazy because Denver is still fighting for a playoff life. We thought they would be out of it when they traded away Von Miller and they traded away Bryce Callahan. They look like sellers and they're still competing. So we're going to see how Denver pans out. Eagles is a really, really winnable matchup, but I wouldn't be surprised if they lose as well because I don't know. I like the matchup a lot. I think it's a really good matchup. I think a lot of people should keep their eyes on this matchup because I'm going to go with the Eagles to win. I don't have them on here. And you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to switch up. I will have the Broncos going 6-4. I'll keep the Broncos as winners in this because they're both, to me, they're both still very mediocre teams. So I'm going to keep it like that, and I think the Broncos are a better team. It's in Mile High. Broncos 6-4 is crazy, but they still fighting for that playoff life. And now, I want to get into the Indianapolis Colts. I don't have them previewed in this at all because they're still about one game behind everyone. The AFC is already as deep as it is, but I will give you this, which it shouldn't be a hard task, but they did beat Buffalo last week. If the Indianapolis Colts beat the Jacksonville Jaguars this week, I will throw them in next week's playoff predictions just because they are contending and they are still winning games and they're still alive in it. And they're actually a very interesting team as well. So they're not out of it as all. So they're in the thick of it, but they're in the back. They're just chilling in the back seat, but they can make a run as well. So if they beat the Jaguars this week, Colts fans, you have my word. I will add them in my next AFC playoff prediction video. And with that will wrap up my AFC playoff prediction video. Let me know down below how you guys are feeling with this AFC race. Let me know how you still see things shaking up. It's going to be interesting. It's all wide open. The only front runner right now is Tennessee, but anything could happen. If they lose to the Saints this week, they're just one game ahead of everyone. This AFC playoff picture is intense. It's wild. If you guys haven't already, please do like this video. Chime in down below. Let me know how you feel your team is doing. And with that, take care. Enjoy your weekend.